Welcome to the Travel Transformation Podcast, where we talk all things travel and all things transformation, exploring the life-changing potential of solo travel, intentional travel, and location-independent working. Whether you're an aspiring digital nomad or simply wish to boost your confidence through epic travel experiences, I'm here to motivate and inspire you to go after all your wildest dreams. I'm Jessica Grace Coleman, author, certified travel coach, founder of the Travel Transformation Company, and your host for the Travel Transformation Podcast. Travel changed my life. Now let's change yours. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to the Travel Transformation Podcast, where we talk all things travel and all things transformation. My name is Jessica Grace Coleman and I'm your host, and today I'm talking to Molvia Maddox, mother, grandmother, founder of meltingicecubes.com, and independent thinker who is learning every day. I met Molvia via one of my friends, Susie, who is one of Molvia's relations, so shout out to Susie. And in this episode, we discuss traveling Route 66, China and Thailand, dry fasting, how travel can help you heal, and Molvia's daughter's Kristie's legacy in the form of Molvia's business and passion project, Melting Ice Cubes. We go into quite a few different topics here, so let's get straight to the interview. Hi, Molvia. Thank you for coming on the podcast today. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Okay, so let's dive straight in. For our listeners, can you introduce yourself? So just a bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Molvia Maddox. I live in Wolverhampton. I'm a mum of 5, grandmother of 5. I work as a project manager. I work freelance for lots of organisations delivering change. I'm an ordinary, everyday woman, struggling with many things. Yeah.
But you love travel, which is why we're here.
I do love travel, yes. And, I've managed to travel quite a lot, actually, and with the children as well. But now they've kind of blown the nest. So it's just down to myself and my husband now. But yeah, I love travel for resetting, widening your horizon, helping you to understand what others. I think it's really beneficial to you.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to dive into some of your particular trips in a bit. But first of all, I asked you where your favourite places are that you've travelled to. And you said Thailand, China, and the Grand Canyon. And we're going to talk about Thailand in a bit. So I wanted to know, why did you choose China and the Grand Canyon? Because I've been to the Grand Canyon as well, and it's so awe-inspiring and amazing. But can you tell me a little bit about your trips there and to China as well?
Yeah, so for China, that was, let me think, about 26, 27 years ago. And you read about China, but nothing prepares you for the vastness of that country and the differences across the country between areas and locations there. So, one area, I think it's Guilin, was like Venice to me, Shanghai, like a space age city. Yeah, it was just a contrast, so much to see. And just really enjoy the experience of travelling. We were there for 3.5 weeks. So we saw quite a lot and did a lot of internal, flights and travelling. But it was just such a beautiful, beautiful country. It's really enjoyed it.
I've only been to Shanghai and Beijing, and then we went down to Hong Kong. So I've only done a little tiny bit of it, like a few days. But yeah, I loved it when I went as well. All the tea. I'm obsessed with tea.
Oh, yes. I was just going to say, and the temples, just how beautiful they are and how peaceful those gardens are around the temples. And then also to see in practice people joining the morning dances, So before work, a lot of people would congregate in the parks and take part in ballroom dancing. It was just beautiful to watch from the hotel, to see all of these people congregating to do this. Like we were all heads down, heading to the office and for like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And then they were going out earlier to make sure that they could take part in the morning dancing, which was beautiful to see. And then throughout the day, when I visited different parts, to see lots of different people practicing Tai Chi. And some of those groups were more elderly people, but they were so flexible and so fit. You know, if anything was going to sell the benefits of doing Tai Chi or practicing Tai Chi, it was actually witnessing these people who were clearly aged, but in terms of their flexibility and ability to move their bodies was so impressive. Yeah, I just loved it. I really did.
I think I need to take up Tai Chi. I think that's something that would definitely help me. And when you went to the Grand Canyon, was that as part of a bigger trip, or was that your sole purpose for the trip?
So my older children left home, and I was left with the two younger ones. And you suddenly realise just how short the time is that you have got with your children. And I can remember as Harrison finished his A-levels and McKenna at GCSE, he was due to go off to university. So I said to my husband, shall we just go on a trip with the children and let's do America? You know, it'll be, because I thought once he got to university, things changed a lot. So we flew to Chicago. And we started in the park under the sign for Route 66, and that's how we drove Route 66. And along that journey, we stopped at lots of different places, and we bought a fantastic book actually, and it's called so Easy Route 66. And it's written by a man who absolutely loves Route 66. He's a real authority on it. So this book is arranged so that the different stretches of the journey, you can pull out a map and you can find all the little things that might not be in your standard type travel journals. So yeah, we went along that route and saw lots of amazing things, including the baseball game. Oh, what was that? Field of Dreams. We happened on that. We decided to come off Route 66 for a little while of cheap because the road was terrible, and we decided to go a slightly different way and get onto what we would term an A road, I guess. And in doing that, we ended up going down this little road, and suddenly there was this field of dreams there. And there was actually a basketball game in progress, which was incredible. So we went to watch that for a little while. And then we saw meteor crater. So where the meteor hit, that wasn't planned, that wasn't on our to-do list, but we were going along the road there, and my son said, oh, that seems to be an interesting place to go. Keeps appearing on the signs, let's go. So we did a little detour and went there, and that was amazing. Just incredible. And look, a little sleepy town. We decided we needed a loose stop, and it was such a sleepy little town. But we thought, well, we'll stop here anyway. And we were wandering down the little high street, and we saw a recording studio sign, a very small one. So we knocked on the door, and the guy let us in. He had his Stetson hat on, and he looked like he'd stepped out to predict it. He said, yeah, this is my recording studio, come on in. And he took us on a tour of this, and it was like a museum piece. But he was so interesting, and so willing to share all of his stories with us. And it ended up, really enjoyable little stop, one that we hadn't anticipated. And on that trip, we ended up going to Williamstown, because my maiden name was Williams, so I had to do the Williamstown. And from there, we took a train trip to the Grand Canyon. And we only did a day trip there. And we really wished that we'd scheduled more time for it, because, like you say, it is actually awe-inspiring and just jaw-droppingly stunning. We all of us really enjoyed visiting there. Online bucket listeners, I want to go back and camp at the bottom. You can camp in the valley, can't you? I would really, really love to do that. It was just the grandeur, it was just vast and Yeah, completely awe-inspiring. And it's a kind of I think everybody feels it because there's kind of a peace there, isn't there? Everybody's so busy being shocked and surprised by the vastness of it, but there's kind of like a hallowed kind of a peace there. Well, that's what we found anyway. No matter that there was there was a lot of visitors. I think everybody's quite humbled by it. And it's really loved seeing the Grand Canyon, and I do want to go back. And then from there, we went on to Las Vegas, which, is a crazy, crazy place for an experience. And then we drove on to Malibu and spent a few days in Malibu and found the site off Venice Beach and the pier where it says the end of Route 66. So that was, fantastic. And then actually we did the Pacific Highway up to San Francisco. So it was a great 3.5 weeks, and we just saw so many things. And it was great traveling with, as I say, Harris and McKenna, who were young people. I can't say they're kids, but they're young people. And so to enjoy that trip with them, I think it was a real blessing, and time that I was value that I got with them. On that trip as well, in this little book, it pointed us to a place where there's all these upturned cars and lorries that are like literally standing on their bumpers in the ground, and you can spray paint them. So Harry and Kenna were spray painting, the cars. It's in the middle of nowhere, and then suddenly off the side of the road, you can see this site where they upturned the vehicles, and people just go.
Is that the Carhenge place? Is that what it's called? I've heard about...
I can't remember if it's called Carhenge.
I've definitely seen something about that in the States, and I was like, that looks really cool. But yeah, that's amazing. I'm going to have to get that book because it's on my bucket list to do Route 66. And I love the States and I love road trips. And yeah, I love the idea of going out, to the little towns and finding like random stuff that you wouldn't normally find if you just stuck to the main path. So that's, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's well worth it. And that book is really excellent. Easily Route 66. And he just absolutely is devoted to finding out these little obscure things about Route 66. It's fabulous.
Excellent. I love obscure things. So I'm definitely going to have to look that up. Okay, so I know that you went on a big trip to Thailand and that this was a way that you healed from something that happened in your life. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so actually I've been twice. So in 2017, so out of my 5 children, one of them was diagnosed with a genetic illness that was degenerative. So it meant that over a number of years, Kristie lost her motor abilities and became a wheelchair user. And it was the kind of condition that attacks. It decides to go and attack a group of nerve connections. And it goes and picks apart the body and does some damage there and then goes away. And then picks somewhere else. And so she experienced a lot of change over a number of years. She was 9 when we finally got the diagnosis. And then in 2017, she's early 20s. Her heart, which had already been at SATs, but it got really bad. And we'd had a nightmare to get her into hospital because nobody's really an expert in these obscure conditions. And so sometimes they don't realise the importance of things. But anyway, we got her into hospital, but she was there for nearly 8 weeks. And I had found after a number of years of having these kinds of battles and advocating for her and trying to make sure she got the best support that we could get. And as I'm saying, Kristie was perfectly able herself and articulate, but it's very challenging to get support. So after one of these situations, I think everything imploded on top of me, the seriousness of what had just happened, the fact that had I not been successful in getting them to listen, then she would have died at that point. And I really felt, because as I said, mom, these children and a busy career. And then there was Kristie, who had her own care support around her in terms of a PA and that type of stuff. But she lived on our property at home in her own little bungalow. But it was still a lot of juggling and still making sure that things were being coordinated properly. And I just felt being and I really felt that I couldn't face anything anymore. And I spoke to the family and said, look, I really need to go away. Somebody had told me about this health oasis, it's called, in Koh Samui, Thailand, where you can go and, they look at your diet, but then you do a lot of fasting, and you do daily yoga. You can take advantage of things like Reiki, acupuncture, massage, there's saunas, there's plunge, cold pools, there's all kinds of things that support your health. And I went there for a month, and it was amazing. My room was really on the beach, and they're a beachfront property, so it's really nice to be able to have that access to the ocean and to the beach and the peace of that. And again, I'm always humbled when I'm standing on a seashore and realising just how small I am compared to everything around me. And I really valued that time. And during the course of that month, it really settled my nerves. It's enabled me to really process everything that we've been going through. So let me think. She was 9 at the time of diagnosis. So that would have been, she would have been 27. So it's a lot of years and a lot of battle. Over a long time. And I really found it beneficial. And I came back renewed and strong and ready to face whatever was coming next, with a condition that is heading one way. So the time ticked on until 2019. Kristie actually did die from the effects of the condition. And again, I became really ill. A month after her funeral, my face paralysed. So I think 23% capacity to move muscles in my face was really paralysed, and it was twisted out of shape. And so you've got the fact that you're grieving your daughter, and then looking in the mirror every day and not recognising yourself, or going out and about, and people are staring at you, children staring at you. My own granddaughter at that point, one of them was 2, and she adapted her smile. So she smiled with only half her face, but she smiled completely normally for everybody else. It was quite a difficult period. I mean, now it is a lot better. I think I'm up to 97% muscle capacity now. It's just a little bit that's left frozen. But anyway, I didn't go all the way in 2019, and then 2021 COVID, 2021, so couldn't travel then really. But I managed to get back there last year. I know that seems quite a gap, considering I went from 2019 to 2023. But during that time, it's quite an adjustment to make. One of your children is missing, and they're never going to come back. And life moves on for everybody. And it does move on for you as well in many ways, but in that stark fact, it never moves on. And you have to learn to live with that on a day-to-day basis and still try and find happiness in life against the context of that horrendous, terrible thing that you thought should never happen. And so I'd wanted to go back to Thailand. Time and circumstances haven't permitted it, and then last year. And when I got there, it's so nice to go back, to somewhere I knew, to some of the faculty. There were a couple of people who had been there when I got in 2017, so that was BM as well. And again, to have that peace, I had the same room on the same beach. And there's something really freeing about traveling on your own. You don't have to satisfy anybody else's agenda. And you can just do and be how you want to be and do what, suits you. And so to take that time, once again, looking at that same ocean and that big sky, was just very healing for me. And I again, had some Reiki, I had acupuncture for my face to make some improvement there, the daily massage. It made a big difference. Came back, understanding how much I've been carrying going into 5 years, and I had a positive concept. From that perspective, I think that I'm so glad that I did it. Thailand itself is just a beautiful country, a riot of smell, colour.
I just want to interrupt this awesome podcast episode for a moment to tell you about Write Your Life, the ultimate life hack for achieving your dreams by Jessica Grace Coleman, a book that teaches you how to design your dream life and then go live it. Life is what you make it. Life is what you write it to be. And you can write whatever you want. Let me show you how. The Write Your Life method gives you all the tools and techniques you need to identify your ambitions, plan your goals, and ultimately achieve all your wildest dreams, all while having fun and getting creative. And you don't need to be a writer to benefit from the Write Your Life method. This book can help anyone, anywhere design their ultimate dream lifestyle. Get it now from Amazon or head to www.traveltransformationcoach.com/books. You'll also get a digital copy completely free when you sign up to the Flip the Script Academy at traveltransformationcoach.com/academy, where we teach you that life is short. So let's make sure it's nothing short of amazing. And now let's get back to the Travel Transformation Podcast.
Wow, well, thank you for telling that story. I know it must be hard to talk about it, and it sounds like it was such a challenging time. But I love that you found something and some place. I think it's very important to have like a place that you can anchor yourself, like you said, and you went back again and all those feelings came back. And Koh Samui is beautiful. I spent 2 months there in 2018, I think. And yeah, it's just so lovely, isn't it? Do you think that the fact that it was so far away in Thailand was part of it? Like physically getting out of the space you were in, you weren't just hopping over to France or something. You were getting on a plane for quite a long time to get somewhere completely different. Do you think that was part of it?
I think so. And I think it's just so very different from the life we have here day to day. The sights are very different. As I say, the sounds, the smell are very different. We get used to living how we live, don't we? And you kind of fall into this sense of, we're so right here in the way they do things. And then you go the other side of the world and just see something that is so different and understand what accidents of birth you were you are. But these people are just as happy there. And things, there might be a difference in the way that they live and that we do, and we might consider that we have a better standard of living. But actually you realise when you travel a lot, it's just so subjective, isn't it, Matthew? And that there is so much else that could enrich our life. We don't understand. I think that space and that time and meeting these practitioners, the Reiki, the acupuncture, those ladies were not English ladies, so my time they designed that they were. And to see that experience, and these two people who I'm thinking about, they'd left their own countries in Europe, they'd gone to India or China and learn these ancient skills and crafts. And that had changed their life. They both now and grew in Thailand. And it's refreshing. It's refreshing it makes me think about what am I doing now? And as a woman who's going to be 62 this year, whose responsibility in terms of raising children has really changed. I've got this opportunity now to make choices. And I'm sure that those choices that I make in the future are really informed by my experiences. I am visioning and sending out to the universe that I want to make some changes this year and to do things differently. And I want to have more travel, more opportunity to have more travel. And I will definitely, like you say, I feel like Thailand is an anchor. It's somewhere that I'm going to stop. This time I fasted again. And this time I even tried dry fasting, which you don't have any water.
Oh.
You don't wash.
Oh.
Keep away from everybody. Yeah, you don't wash, you don't brush your teeth, you don't touch water, you don't drink any. And I did that for 4 days. So, when you first hear about it, that's quite a shock to you. 4 days? Well, they didn't ask me to do it for 4 days. They recommend 37 hours. But in the middle of those 37 hours, I felt really quite well and balanced. And so I looked on the internet, dry fasting and benefits of it. And it seems that people dry fast for longer. Some people do 5, 6, 7, 8 days. So I thought, I'm just going to continue to do this and practice this for the next few days, because it forces your body into a state of what they call autophagy, which means that your body starts to look for ways that it can be efficient. So it heals things that are not right, or it gets rid of things that it deems to be unsafe. So cells that are not quite right. Autophagy is an amazing thing. It also takes your fat and turns it into water. So that's why you can survive. And in the process of autophagy, you're advised to be quite quiet and not speaking. That makes you be quite reflective and, alone. And I think all of that was really good. 4 days I did, and I felt really well. And then at the end of the 96 hours, I decided just to stop now. Gently break that by just having some initial water, and then a couple of hours later, and start to come out of this. But all of those practices I would never have thought about doing, like fasting. My husband says to me, why should you get to somewhere like Thailand when there's fantastic food? That is just wrong. But the benefit of those processes of your body are really valuable. And then for me, one of the side effects that I had from those years of being involved in also the care of Kristie and through her challenges was that it caused physical illness for me, because it raised my stress, cortisol and adrenaline levels too high, and it raised them. So the process of fasting and then the dry fasting, it helps to balance your body back, repair some of that damage. So I will definitely go back there again. And as I'm getting older, there's going to be more need, I think, to keep on top of my health. But yeah, I think in doing that, it will give me the strength and the energy and the ability to do more.
Wow, I've not actually heard of dry fasting before. This is fascinating me. I don't think I'd do well. I drink a lot of water and a lot of tea. I don't know if I could give it up for 4 days. That's amazing. During the 4 days, were you gasping for water? Were you really thirsty? No?
Absolutely not. And I drink a lot of tea, and I've got one of these huge, the beaker cups that I walk around with. I drink a lot of water, and I do drink tea. So yeah, I was a bit worried at first. Even when they said, would you like to try it for 37 hours? I was thinking, what? No. But of course, when you're fasting, you're not drinking green tea as we drink it anyway. because you just have water. But no, strangely enough, no. And that's why when I got to about 30 hours, I was thinking, well, I thought I'd be dying first by now, and I wasn't. And I felt quite well. But because I knew what autophagy did, the longer you can actually do this, it's going to have a long-term beneficial effect on you. So no, by the end of the 4 days, I was thinking, I'm really would like some water now. And if I did walk up to the main salad, so where everybody meets during the day and in the evening, and if I saw people drinking, I'd be like, oh my goodness, I'll just drink. But no, it's actually quite doable, strangely enough. But you see, your body is turning fat into water. Now, I've got a fair bit of fat it could be using. It has to be said. So it turns fat into water. So I think that satisfies the first that you expect.
Yeah, that is fascinating. I'm going to have to look that up because I'd never heard of it, though. Yeah, very, very interesting. Okay, so when I asked you before about travel, and we've kind of talked about this a little bit already, but you said that travel reduces stress, widens your perspective, and releases you from the treadmill hamster wheel of life, which I completely agree with. Can you expand on this, especially the hamster wheel of life? Because I think we all find ourselves on that at some point or other, if not all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we do, don't we? You know, we're often caught in this 9 to 5, or it's not 9 to 5, is it? Yeah, if you're traveling to work, it's like 7:30 or 8. Depending on how far it is, and then invariably, like me tonight, for example, before, you know, getting caught in meetings till 5:30 or 6. That is what we do. We just think we've got to go to work and we've got to deliver for somebody else, and we're under pressure on that delivery. But then, as a woman, we do tend to take a lot of the organising work on for the whole of the family. Daughter's a diary manager for everybody. When the kids are at school, you know, it's all the different sporting events, music. And yeah, there's all of that. And then running the house with your partner, you know, the garden, the house. It's just a treadmill. You don't get to stop. Yes, you come out of work and then there's a tick list in your head about, I need to do that, I need to do the other. Got to drop that off, I've got to take this up. What have we got for lunch tomorrow? What's for dinner tomorrow? It's just, I felt like, I feel it less these days now that I don't have children here, but there was a constant to-do list in my head. Constant of all the things that you needed to remember. And you don't realise how noisy your head is. It is just noisy. Because even when you've done all that and you maybe sit down, you know, sometime in the evening, hopefully, and you're then thinking about the next day. Well, I better be up this time tomorrow. Who's going to do the school run? And, you know, what else needs to happen tomorrow? It is a constant treadmill. And I think you hear a lot of people say, don't you, they go on their holiday, whether that be a week or 2 weeks. And the first couple of days, they're still up there thinking about the treadmill. And you might get 2 or 3 days in and you start to relax. And depending on how long you're away for, before you know it, it's time to come home. And we never really just relax. And I think I found for me, as I say, this summer we were able to do America on Route 66, and it took a longer chunk of time there. And when I've gone to Thailand for a month, and I think stepping away from your normal routine and that amount of time, you really do switch up. You know, somewhere during that first week, you really do think, oh, actually, I'm here for a while. And that feels like a luxury in itself, you know. For me, the first time I did it, I did feel guilty because obviously home was still here, kids were here, Kristie was here, and you kind of hope that everybody's keeping on with everything. But I really did, even that time, manage to think, no, they're adults. Well, my husband's an adult. Kristie's an adult. She's got her PA. The kids are older teenagers. So they can manage themselves. This time, when I went in 2023, it's just myself and my husband. So I really didn't worry about that. I knew he was going to be fine with the cats, so that was okay. But yeah, it is just stopping. And I think some way during that first week, you do find you're not ticking the list off. You're not worried about what's going to happen tomorrow or next week or even the week after, because you're going to be here. You're going to be here on this beach, looking at this ocean. No, the only thing you've got to worry about is making sure you turn up for your massage on time and you take part in the activities that you want to, like yoga, whatever it is. And it feels like you stop and you feel relaxed and at peace. That I think it's hard to come by when you are stuck in a 9 to 5 box time as you will here.
Yeah, I totally agree. And even if you have a weekend where you don't have anything on, you're still in the same place where everything's going on. You still have those lists, like you say. I have so many mental lists. I have lists for my lists, actual lists and brain lists. I just have like so many different things. And yeah, it's that thing as well, isn't it? When people go away and they come back and they say, oh, I need a holiday to recover from my holiday because they only went for like a week. And by the time they were relaxed, they started worrying about coming home again. And I've definitely been prone to that in the past as well. So yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. Now, you have a business, Melting Ice Cubes, website, meltingicecubes.com, which you founded. Can you tell me about this? What it is, what you do, and where did the name come from as well?
So when I first spotted that there was something, I felt that there was an issue with Kristie's health. When she was just a child, and she was about 2.5. And there was just little things. She tremored and she stumbled. I mean, Kristie was like Tigger. She was full of energy. She was full of laughter and happiness and as light as a button. But just those things, the tremors, what is that about? Falling over nothing. And I went to the doctors and said, something's not right here. I'm one of the older children of the family. I've seen younger siblings. I've not seen it. And now my own children, I've got 2 older boys and I've not seen it. And they just said there was nothing wrong, but I didn't need to worry. But I noticed things over the next few years and took her back 3 times. We ended up at the hospital with her through a doctor referral. And 3 times they told me that there was something wrong, that I was just too overanxious. And all the time, Kristie's growing. So now by the time she's like 7 or 8, teachers are saying she falls over her own feet. What is going on? So she's 6 or 7 then. And she used to stand with her legs wide apart. Kristie was a very dainty child as well, but she used to walk like a giant. It would stomp on the floor and she'd stand with her legs wide apart. Now I know she's trying to keep her balance by keeping her legs wide. It kept her balance. And she stopped because she was having to really put energy into lifting those muscles. So that's why that happened. So all this time I researched, and years ago, I don't know if you remember, Ask Jeeves. So Ask Jeeves was instead of Google. And it was really hard to find information, really hard. And then it became Google. And by now, obviously, we've moved on a few years, and this time they've listened again and they've done more tests. And they agree that there is something wrong. And I find it, they mentioned words like, oh, she's got the ataxic walk and things like that. So they set up a load of bloods for genetic testing, and I continued to do more research through the tool I had and came across the illness that she did have, which is Friedrich. And then over the next 10 years, because the condition attacks a different part of the body, you end up with a multitude of other conditions because it causes illness to the body. And I was constantly having to go on find out Google. But Google scrapes a lot of information and presents back what it feels is right. But to get obscure pieces of information, you have to change your search string and really keep retrying it, find the nuggets that might be useful for us in our circumstance. And then as I travel around the country, Kristie, because at that time we were under different hospitals, different fields, different consultants. And you'd meet mums or other young people in waiting rooms, and they're all telling you the same. We're spending hours on Google trying to find information about this condition. It was hard because we were just talking about a hamster wheel, but at that point in time, once I'd done everything I needed to do, once everybody was safely in bed, I would often be on the internet at 11, 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, hunting for information. And so in my head, I began to think there needed to be a platform that could allow you to find information out all kinds of conditions without you having to do all that real heavy legwork. And so we met with quite a lot of developers at the time, and they all kept telling us they couldn't see anything wrong. But I knew what I wanted to see and how I wanted to see it. So after 12 years, it's a long, long, long time, we developed this platform search engine that we've got. It's been launched a few years now, but and we've kind of had a hiatus and a break to think about what we do with it next. But part of what I want to do, the changes I want to make in my life, is going to allow me the time to pick it up again. Because melting ice cubes is a legacy for Kristie. Helped us in developing melting ice cubes. It was her vision. There's a particular search that you can use on there called Everyday Life. And Everyday Life, if you use it, it gives you access to YouTube videos that are associated with the condition you're searching for. Because Kristie's view was, oh, goodness sakes, I'm sick of talking about this illness. And I'm not really ill. I just have a challenge that I just have to deal with every day. And I'm not really bothered about it. But what I want to know is, what can I do? And how can I live with it? And how can I get on with work? One of her searches was travel. How can I travel with this condition? So that was quite novel, and that's her research. That's what she wanted. And when people say to me, when they use it, it's so nice as well to not read, but to listen to somebody who's talking about your condition with lived experience of it. And we just pulled it all together. It actually launched just before she died. So she saw it. She saw it launch. And, she did say to me, when I got here, this is part of the legacy that I've left, because I appreciate what it would mean for people and what it will mean for parents and what it will mean for young people if they get a diagnosis later and they want to search for it themselves. Now, the name, couldn't think of the name. There's lots of names I could have associated with health, but I just wanted something a bit different. And one day in our chaotic house, I'm sitting there doing some work at home, kids are on school holiday, messing about in the kitchen, and we've got an ice dispenser on the fridge. And Harrison goes to get some ice, and for whatever reason, the over spills and things all over the drawer. As I'm thinking, I need to be sorting this out. And I remember saying, oh, for goodness sake, Harrison, now look at this ice, melting ice cubes all over the bowl. And then I just stopped and I thought, melting ice cubes? Something that seemed really hard is melting away. That's a great name. And so we call the platform Melting Ice Cubes, because things that seem difficult and hard can feel different if you understand them and if you can see encouragement for what can be achieved in spite of those things.
I love that. I love the mission. I love what you've created. I love the name. And I love that it's, like you say, it's a great legacy to leave behind, knowing that it will help other people years and years into the future, hopefully. So that's incredible. And that's at meltingicecubes.com. Is that right? Okay, I'll put the link to that in the show notes. I'll also put a link to the book you mentioned. I'll go and have a look at that. And if you have the information for the place in Thailand as well, if you could send me that, then I'll link to that in case anyone's interested, because that sounds like an amazing place as well.
Yeah, help around to the coast of Mary.
Great, thank you. Okay, so just one last question then. Is there anything else you want to leave our listeners with? Anything else you want to mention? Any other message you want to get across before we go?
I just think the ability to travel is such a gift, and it's worth every sacrifice that you can make, to achieve that. And I know travel means different things for different people. And if you're caught on the hamster wheel of life, it often is, you want to break away to some kind of resort where you can be pampered and you can stop. I think if you can manage to also perhaps incorporate some travel where you're actually moving along the line Route 66, for example, or going to somewhere completely different. You also need to Goa, which is a fantastic region to visit, and to Thailand, and to see another way of life, and to perhaps go to these smaller resorts that are maybe not considered 5-star, but they're 5-star in terms of the access that they give your mind to do things differently. But that is just amazing. And, I don't even care anymore about buying my new holiday wardrobe. I'll take what I've got. Sorry that, because, I'd rather use my money and my resources to enable me to take more trips, for which nobody knows you. They don't know what you've worn once or 50,000 times, and they don't care. And I'd rather just have some experiences and time that allow you to take a step back, to really think on, to train your mind.
Love it. I could not have said it better myself. I would much rather spend my money on experiences, like you say, travel, things like that, things that are really going to change your life. Like you say, healing, make you look at things from a different perspective, all that stuff is, I still like shopping, but I will always rather spend my money on, experiences and seeing the world. So that's amazing. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast today and being so open about your story. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people. And thank you. Thank you for listening to the Travel Transformation Podcast with me, Jessica Grace Coleman. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe, rate and review, and spread the word, because it's my mission to help as many people as possible to flip the script on their lives and transform through travel. And remember, life is short, so let's make sure it's nothing short of amazing. Until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.